about dietary recommendations in Mexico. I live there for 25 years now, and well, I will start presenting you. Sorry. Yeah. First, I will present a Mexico social context, a brief Mexico social context, the dietary recommendations in Mexico. The FAO presents ones of 215, but now there are from 2023. And I will talk briefly about the milpa diet, that is a traditional Mexican way of harvesting, and the conclusions. Okay, about Mexico's social context, I will talk about poverty. We have very fun and marvelous and kind people in Mexico. We have a lot of fruits, vegetables, but we also have a lot of habitants. We have 26 million in surface, that is almost 4 Spains, and we have the 10th most populated country. The pyramid is still with a large base, but that is slightly reducing now. We have in green 40% of population in poverty. In orange, just a quarter of the population that could say not poor, not vulnerable. 90% of the population have educational backlog. 39% do not have access to health services, and only 50% of the population have access to social security. Also, 9% do not have housing quality and space. 18% lacks basic housing services, and 18% do not have nutritious and quality foods. So in this context of poverty, I will show you now breastfeeding conditions. And we can see that at birth, in the first column, just 1 of 3 babies are breastfed at a hospital, and 40% are with commercial milk formula. This summarizes that only 1 of 3 is breastfed during the first month. Only 1 of 2 are exclusively breastfed after 1 age, if they started during 6 months. And 1 of 2 babies are consume commercial milk formula. And the third point was metabolic situation in the population. In 209, we start with making a review, about metabolic syndrome in Latin America, and we have 25% more or less of metabolic syndrome, with 45% of abdominal obesity and more than 60% with low levels of HDL cholesterol. And later on, we have done work with university population, and we find less than 7% in students and 50% in professionals that also presented metabolic components or syndrome. And in the global population, we have that 80% have waist circumference greater than it must be, 59% high triglycerides, 56% low HDL cholesterol, and glucose levels, 28% of the population have high levels, 34% high blood pressure, or they are taking some meds, and 54% of the population is presenting metabolic syndrome. And in the adult population, we have 70% of overweight or of obesity. For the dietary recommendations in 215, the National Academy of Medicine of Mexico present a book guided by the National Institute of Public Health, and they present all the recommendations. I will just remember reducing salt, reducing sweat bread, reduce overeating, and prefer roasted, stewed, and grilled food preparations. And these suggestions are not now in the new guidelines presented in May 223. The first ones are those in the FAO page that Ana Islas presented, but these are not yet there. The aims of this guideline are to promote healthy and sustainable eating within 10 recommendations that some of them have been previously detailed. The first suggestion is breastfeeding, as Patricia is doing here with us. And they suggest breastfeeding exclusive for the first 6 months, but you have said that you don't have that, and we still prolong until the 2nd year of life. Increase fresh vegetables and fruits in all meals, and they recommend portions. Also, they suggest to choose seasonal vegetables and fruits, and people generally eat banana, apple, and orange instead of having other, because sometimes they are expensive. The third recommendation is daily consumption of beans, lentil, broad beans, prepared as stew, soups, or with vegetables. And we have in this morning, we have listened all the benefits that came with legumes. They suggest also to choose whole grains such as corn tortillas, oatmeal, rice, and tubers as such potatoes. They suggest also to eat less beef and processed meats. Instead, they suggest to eat beans, because it has been lost, the practice of eating beans and lentils, eggs, chicken, or fish, and the population usually do not eat fish. And for our health and that of the planet, let's choose more plant-based food. So they are thinking on sustainability now. Sixth recommendation is avoid ultra-processed food. And in 214, there was soft drink taxes that have reduced the high consumption of sugary drinks. And on 2020, we started with the front-end labeling, like Chile. And I think that people and even kids now, they are telling that they understand this labeling. They are pointing about drink natural water. It's surprisingly, but there it's not so common. Now more before than 20 years before, we couldn't buy a bottle of water, and you can't drink tap water because it's not safe. But people usually drink aguas frescas, fresh water that is fruits and sugar, and it's not so funny, and soft drinks and juices. The next point that Professor Miguel Ángel Martínez maybe would say, why are you so severe, but avoid alcohol consumption. Wine is only consumed by people in high levels of education and possibilities economically, and if not, if usually people when they drink or beers or alcohol like tequila or some varieties, and they really drink a lot. So they say no drinks at all of alcohol. Engage in more physical activity, such as walking, jogging, but if you can see, the recommendations are far away from those presented by Professor González Gross. It's not so much, 150 or 30 minutes of moderate intensity activity or 75 minutes of vigorous activity. We are not taking into account the other activities that we are doing. And the 10th recommendation, yes, I think it's very similar to Mediterranean diet, enjoy meals with family or friends whenever possible. And they also suggest everyone participates in the planning and preparation of meals without wasting food. So this is a new information that population before didn't receive. The healthy plate is half legumes and vegetables and fruits, sorry. Second group, cereals, it's less than before. We have also legumes and meat and lipids are reduced but are present. And before we didn't have lipids like that. And I would like to mention the Milpa diet. Milpa diet is the presentation of how people usually in Mexico grow their plants. And it was a polyculture based with the corn, and they plant around the corn the beans that grow with the corn sustainable. I don't know, and also the squash, and also in the en la tierra, in the soil. Thank you. The nutrients were integrated by the three plants. So now also they are trying to insist on why we do not come back for traditional methods of cultivos. Sorry, because I'm really tired now. And the polyculture has several advantages over monocultures. As I say, it allows to have in different times the vegetables and the harvest. And also there are reduced attacks by other animals. Plants generate the synergies for growing and for support the soil. And usually they say it does not require agrochemicals that usually are using monocultures. And in a newspaper, they present this comparison. And I said, curiously, Dieta de la Milpa and Mediterranean diet. And you can see the vegetables at the top, the seeds, the healthy oil, and so instead of olive oil, we have the avocado oil that is also rich in mono acids. The cereals, integrales. And finally, fish. We don't have so much fish, and it's not funny to eat fish. Usually, if I bought it, it's congelated because it's not fresh at all, and so not very, very good. Dairy products, and we have some poultry and insects. That is also a way of eating proteins that it's also being studied for enriching some food and for some new aspects of food. And for the conclusions, large, very diverse and heterogeneous country with major health and lifestyle challenges, recommendations of a healthy dietary pattern, finally, because we have seen the parallelism with Mediterranean diet, rescued traditional pattern based on vegetables and a traditional polyculture named Milpa diet, and is a country with many challenges to improve education and health. And thank you for your attention, and sorry.